Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, Doc and Prof putting on the full court press as we move on to the conference semifinals. 2-2 with most of the series. Some are down more. We're going to talk about it, including
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you are new here, but my name is the Professor John Gotti, and I represent, I may say advocate, for the reigning, defending, undisputed podcast champion that can shoot down any runners and make them cry. Doc Lesnar. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Can't complain. You data analyzing ninja, the Professor John Gotti, ladies and gentlemen, the Professor John Gotti. How are you doing, sir?
I'm pretty good. I don't even know we're really going to be debating. We're probably going to be doing a lot of recapping, not to be honest with you.
I mean, we might debate here and there. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's something that you like, I don't like, vice versa. I mean, if it really gets really boring, I can always mention a three-letter name or phrase that could get the party going like nobody's business.
Let's get ourselves started, sir.
Well, somebody said on Facebook today that since Paul Pierce said that the Bucks were done, the Celtics have lost the last three games. Are you buying or selling the curse of the truth?
I don't think it's a curse of the truth.
I don't
I
think so
think
either.
it's more of a lack of effort. I don't know what's going on in that locker room. Of course, there's been reports,
Hmm.
nothing set in stone
Sure.
about our boy Kyrie making his final bow in, TD Gardens out there in Boston, Massachusetts,
All
and is ready to
speculation.
take his talents to the Big Apple.
Hmm.
Now, those are all reports. We're only saying these are what we heard,
Right.
but I mean, the teams just haven't been playing as well as people were thinking.
Right.
Like, and it was an interesting video. I think it was on Hoops Logic actually. It was on YouTube actually. Make sure you check out their stuff actually. It's really good stuff. But they was talking about how Gordon Hayward is a catalyst, or at least was explaining why Gordon Hayward was one of the major reasons that the team has been struggling so much.
Hmm. I would be interested to hear this because, and you know what? I can see why. Again, last year when they were in the playoffs and you saw the rise of the Brotherhood's Jason Tatum, as he filled in that role, I said to myself, when Haywood comes back,
Hmm.
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be weird because of the depth and Haywood coming back, which I really felt they should have traded him, but Hayward coming back, I felt could have potentially messed up their rotation. But that was in the beginning of the season, of course. Now it's just like,
Yes.
I mean, they should be fully rotated. But and I'm gonna let you go ahead. Then I'm gonna ask a question.
But I can understand that. I mean, the last game he only scored 2 points, but he only shot 5 times. So I mean, he had a real Joel Embiid type night.
Hmm.
But like, it's more than just Gordon Hayward. We
Right.
had Marcus Smart coming back, but he decided he wanted to shoot 7 3 pointers, only made one. Like that's pretty
Yeah,
bad.
that is
They
terrible.
didn't have that defensive intensity that they had before Marcus Smart went down, because he is the heart and the soul of the team when it comes to manning up that defense or leading that defensive charge.
Mm-hmm.
And they missed that for all that time he was out. That's
Right.
some of those things that's not on the scoreboard or not in the stat sheets that people don't want to consider.
Sure.
And it also could just be that, teammates of Kyrie is ready for him to leave so they can take the reins, so to speak.
Of course.
But then you still have, Al Horford is still playing pretty good, but I mean he's getting bullied by Brooke Lopez.
You know what?
Brooke
That's kind of a
Lopez.
that's kind of a low blow. That's a low blow. I might give
No,
you a
no,
technical.
that's not a
That's
low
a low
blow.
blow.
The
That's
low
low.
blow, the low blow that I heard before this show started. I was watching the highlights of the past games. I believe it was all the game fours
Mm-hmm.
from Chisel Adonis. Also check out his YouTube channel as well. He has some really great stuff. A great comedian. But he called Al Horford a generic 2K center.
Wow.
So don't say what I don't try to claim
No.
that what I said was a low blow. That was a low blow.
Let me tell you though. So then I'm gonna ask my question,
Okay.
but I'm gonna say it's a low blow. I could see if Al Horford was getting beat by Robin Lopez, then I would have been like, okay,
Whoa, whoa,
Al.
whoa, wait. Did you just say Robin Lopez?
That's his name, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and finish up your question because I might be getting confused about what you're about to ask me. So go ahead.
Right. As I was saying, I could see if Al Horford was getting beat by Robin Lopez, the twin of Brooke.
Of course.
But Brooke Lopez, I don't know if he's, found the, I guess so, quote unquote, fountain of youth, or if he's gone to Kobe Bryant camp or visited, you
Kobe
know,
Bryant camp.
if he went to Mamba University, or
Mamba
if
U.
or if he called Hakeem Olajuwon up. But
Oh no! Straight up Cobra Kai.
but the guy has really stepped it up, and he's been fitting in with that team. I mean, and
Very
I think I
well.
told you, I mean, he's been able to shoot the three, and I think Al Horford's just been having a hard time because it's kind of tough if you're in an Al Horford spot because you have to defend the paint, which your guy is at the top of the key now because that's where Robin Lopez usually stays, and then you got Giannis, and you got these guys driving the lane. So I mean, he's in a tough spot. So I
You,
mean, I
you
can't
just
put
you
it
just
all
called
on the.
Robin just now.
Uh, Either way, you can't. I don't remember doing that, but you can't. If Brook is sitting at the top of the key, you can't leave him up there, but you can't leave the lane open
Nope.
for Brogdon and these guys who Brogdon's coming back, but you can't leave. These guys are going to keep coming back, and that puts Al in a tough spot. So I mean, generic 2K player that's kind of rough. I mean, that is definitely
That
low.
is very low.
Um, but then again, it depends on what he means by generic. I don't know. I would have to see that video because
We're,
a
we're, we're,
generic
we're
2K
pretty much.
center could just mean that the person hasn't bought any clothes yet and he's just wearing the brown shirt. You know what I mean? And I think my player still has the brown shirt because I don't really care about clothes in 2K. But my question was, we've seen the likes of this over and over.
hmm
When do we start to look at Brad Stevens?
I feel like for the Celtics, I feel like they're only going to start looking at Brad Stevens. I mean, and some analysts are looking at Brad Stevens right now. Like, let's not get
Hmm.
it twisted. Like, there are a few, but we're talking about a minority and not the
Right,
majority.
right. And
I
that's what
feel
I'm
like
asking.
people are only going to start looking at Brad Stevens as a coach for, one of the best franchises in the four major sports
Hmm.
as soon as the team hits around 500 at the end of the year. So if they enter the playoffs at 500 or they miss the playoffs by either being at 500 or under 500 is when the glancing over will start beginning.
I don't think that's really ever going to happen unless they suffer a whole bunch of injuries. Because even if Kyrie was to leave, you still have Rozier, you still have Smart, you got these good players. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they package, Gordon Hayward and some other players, for the Anthony Davis,
Hmm.
for they don't really need him, but potentially for Kawhi Leonard or someone like that. Hey, what all we know, I just saw a report. Maybe the Lakers do try to trade LeBron James, which would be, one of the craziest things probably to ever happen. But that's neither here nor there. I
Not
mean, I guess
likely
that's
to
just my
happen.
question.
That is not
It's not
happening.
likely, but it would be insane if they did. And if I was the Lakers, I would consider it because I don't think 34-year-old LeBron is really going to give them what they're looking for if nobody else joins again for a second year. But that's neither here nor there. My question about Brad Stevens really is because they've had these exits for the last 2 or 3 years. I know basketball and football completely different. I'm just wondering if they're going to take this to the Jeff Fisher or Marvin Lewis max, or even a George Carl max, a Jerry Sloan max.
Hmm.
How long are they going to take this? Because these guys, the years go by fast, and making it to the playoffs, if that's the goal, I mean, that's going to fade pretty quickly in these big markets.
But is Boston a big market though?
Boston is a huge market.
I know it is. This is more
I'd
for you to
say.
tell this to the rest of the people. I know this answer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I
they
have to
better
ask that
know.
so they should know.
Oh
Because they
yeah, they
don't know.
better know.
Because they don't know.
Yeah, they better
They
know.
don't know. They don't know. But yeah, I agree. It had to be something real catastrophic. I mean, because we had something similar happen last year. People's like, well, the Celtics are done and blah, blah, blah. They ended up, being one game away from, doing something that we haven't seen in a long time. A young team to the finals.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. I
But
think
it's gonna have to be a huge plague of injuries and the team finishing 500 or worse at the end of the year
mhm.
like that, and only then is when people will start calling for Brad Stevens jobs. To ask Danny Ainge and the rest of the front office to reevaluate their head coaching decisions.
Mhm. Which, speaking of Danny Ainge, I didn't put this in my final thought, and I don't know if you did, but uh, did you hear about Danny Ainge's mild heart attack?
Yes. Yes. And,
It's-
we're still sending our thoughts and prayers out to him and his family. I hope he has a speedy recovery as well.
Absolutely. Of course, I hope I didn't steal one of your final thoughts, but um, I found it to be crazy, and in the midst of the playoffs, could that be a factor in this poor performance?
I don't think so. I feel like if something like that was to happen, as
Hmm.
we being former athletes ourselves, like we take a tragedy and we use it as motivation.
This
And,
is true.
we want to try to get a statement win for someone. Get one for the Gipper.
Wow, not the Gipper.
The Gipper.
Oh my goodness.
But
Wow.
maybe that first game was what it was. Maybe that first game was that Rudy moment.
Maybe.
You know,
Maybe it was a
because
fluke.
because that led to Paul Pierce making such a bold claim and having people like Common, backing up what the truth is saying. And
Hmm.
now, 3 games later, they're trying to double back on what they're saying.
Right.
Saying, I was wrong.
I was joking
I jumped the gun too quickly.
way too quick.
I was feeding into the hype too much because we beat the number one seed in the first game of a 7 game series.
Bro.
But these things happen. People make these type of bold claims emotionally. And
Hmm.
Paul Pierce being a lifetime Celtic player,
Hmm.
he's gonna ride or die with his team, and I respect that.
No.
Unfortunately, unfortunately. this team may not make it to six
Right. I think it may potentially be over
tonight.
today.
Yes.
And I mean, but again, and I said this maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, that Bucks team is again kind of built similar to the Rockets, with the exception of Brooke Lopez shooting the three. But they're a shooting team, but they play some defense. Mike Buttonholzer got them boys playing hard,
Yep.
and you can't skip what the Greek Freaks are able to do to them. And the interesting stat, I guess, that the analysts want to throw out there is that whoever wins the third quarter wins the game. That's what they've been focusing on, from what I can see. But it's going to be an interesting game. Comes on today at 8 o'clock, so roughly 23 minutes
Yes.
Eastern Standard Time.
Of
I mean,
course.
hopefully the Celtics are able to push it to the limit,
Well,
take it to
their
another
backs are
level. It's
against the
playoffs.
wall. And if
Playoffs.
I'm and I'm Budenholzer and the Bucks, expect several haymakers at the start of the game. So
Hmm.
I'm pretty sure the Celtics are going to make a really early run. They might be up at least 9 or 10 before the first timeout is called,
Unless they quit.
or they can quit. But I think that's going to happen in the second half than in the first half. The first half, they're going to try to fight.
Hmm.
Like, they're ready to ride, die. It's bad boys, baby.
And you know what, man? No matter what, they got to strut.
They're not
And
gonna
I'm
strut.
looking
They're not gonna strut. No,
and
no.
I'm
I
looking
was
forward to
gonna let you
seeing.
have that one, but they ain't gonna strut, man. They're gonna
Well,
sit
you know what?
there. They're gonna sit there. They're gonna lay on the ground, and they're just gonna wilter into death.
Well, this is what I'm gonna say, and then we definitely can move on to the one of the next games. But let's just say this: no matter what, Kyrie's gonna take his jersey off after the end of the game, and probably walk out with his tank top.
And that's most likely what's gonna happen. Who
Right. No
knows?
matter what,
Who knows?
win or lose,
Who knows?
he's taking the jersey off.
Like, once again, at this point, all I care about is the series and this game tonight.
Absolutely.
I don't care
Absolutely.
about what's going to happen in the off season. I've said
Mm,
this ever since the playoffs started. I don't care. We will talk
absolutely.
about the off season once the final is over and we have our end of year review. Where we talk about everything that
Absolutely.
happened this current season and talk about all things that's going to happen next season. That's it.
Without question.
Like, I
I
don't
know.
care. You want me to tell you why? Because nothing is set in stone. People keep talking all this stuff. Nothing's happening right now.
Nothing.
Relax.
Well, it's hard to relax. I mean,
No, I'm talking about
when
everyone
you're
else. They just need to relax. Like, let's focus
that's
on the
what I said.
game. Like what your favorite Street Fighter player likes to say. Enjoy your game.
Well, some people would go on to say that their favorite FGC star said download complete, but whose favorite FGC star is that really?
That is definitely Doc Lester's.
Never,
Between
never
him and the Peyton Manning
of the
of the
FGC.
FGC. Which,
That
by the way,
punk right
I
there.
can't wait. I can't wait for you to tell him that.
I'm gonna let him know, man. Hey, man, anybody ever tell you you're like the Peyton Manning of the FGC?
that might
I'm
that
gonna say
might
it just
motivate
like
him.
that.
That actually might motivate him.
There you go. Because he can take it either good or bad. I mean, it's really up to him. But let's move on to one of these other games here. I guess
Absolutely.
another interesting series. Um, I mean, all of them are really good,
Well, I'm about to
actually.
say,
All
like,
of
there
them
is
are
no
good.
one bad series right now,
I guess it looked bad because
except
of the score, but
except
the Raptors and the
that series.
76ers, yeah, like the 76ers, and I don't know what happened. I didn't watch this game, but 89 points in the playoffs for this team who has a plethora of solid basketball players is
89
unacceptable.
points in a playoff game in 2019 is terrible.
Yeah, it's no good.
Don't folks. Don't get it twisted. Yes, the playoffs, the game slows down supposedly. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
that means more defense is going to be played, supposedly. Yes,
Sure.
that means that the points scored in the game should go down, supposedly.
Right.
But if you didn't even hit 90,
Right.
see, that's an issue. That's an
It
issue.
was, and it's not like they got dominated by Kawhi. Yeah, he had 21 points.
No, no,
Um,
they got dominated by Kawhi. Kawhi
I
is
mean,
averaging.
not this game though.
No, well, this game was more he was down to earth. But like before
And
this game, he was averaging 40.
oh yeah, and then I mean Siakam, who was on the verge of not playing, dropped 25 points.
Yes!
Now that's crazy. Uh,
Yes!
and yeah, that part is really crazy to me. And I mean, I would expect the 76ers to push this to game seven, but I'm not
they're not
betting
they're
my.
not pushing it. No.
But as my manager used to say, would you bet your check on it? And I would say
Absolutely
no.
not. Absolutely not.
um, but I mean, ultimately, the process looks like it's still being processed.
The process is still pending.
Yeah, because I feel like they're still putting some pieces together. And I mean, I'll give Brent Brown a lot of credit. He's done a good job with them, but I just think that their style
Don't
of
say that to
play.
Stephen A. Smith because he would have a different opinion.
Well, I mean, think about it like this. What kind of league do we play in? We play in a league where half of the teams are running down, chucking up threes,
Yep.
where this team you have, one, two, three, maybe three okay 3-point shooters, and then there's JJ Redick. You know what I
Who
mean?
shot 33% on a
Abysmal.
three? Like,
Yeah, he's
this is
he's
not
not
a
good.
3-point shooting team, and that's
Right,
crazy.
right. Jimmy Butler is more of a post mid range kind of guy.
Mid range, yes.
Tobias Harris can knock down a three occasionally, but he's more of a mid range post guy.
Yep.
Embiid, same way. And Ben Simmons, I mean,
Oh, say it. Oh, say it. I'm,
I mean,
I'm
he's
licking my chops. Tell the
so.
people. Tell the
Before I
people.
say that,
No, no, no. Tell them.
okay,
Tell
okay,
them the truth. They need the
Ben,
truth.
Ben Simmons is a talented basketball player.
No, don't sugarcoat
How,
it. Don't sugarcoat
how
it.
however, he's a liability
He is a
out
very
there.
big liability.
And it's so crazy because you think about it like this. He's 6'10". Jimmy's about 6'7". Tobias is about 6'8". And then you bring in, I mean, if you don't put JJ Redick on the floor, and let's say you have, James Ennis or, Jonathan Simmons out there, or whoever, and then you
Well, you
throw in
mentioned
Embiid.
Jonathan Simmons. He's a shooter. He can shoot
He is.
threes. But guess what? He ain't running. He's getting no burn.
Yeah,
Zero burn. Zero burn.
right. I mean, he did play a little bit. He played 9 minutes, and that's zero in my eyes. That's zero. It looked like they played the
I was
entire
literally about to
team.
say like, are you being serious right now? Like, am I getting punked right now? Cause
No, you're not getting Peyton Manning, the FGC.
oh no, why you gotta say his name like that, bro? Anywho, to your point, sir.
I don't think he I don't think he has matured his like I don't think his game has matured enough to play in this game on this team at that position. He plays point guard. He's 6'10". Now think about it like this: him and Giannis, completely different games.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And that's where it's like you think about Ben Simmons had a whole year to shape his game, develop a mid range, you know what I mean? Develop some post moves because he's literally playing point guard. So JJ Redick is the smallest person on the court.
Yep. As the starters,
So
yes.
as a starter, right?
Everyone else is
So
6'7" or higher.
Right. So it's a matchup nightmare because your shooting guard and your point guard typically are small. So I assume most teams probably put, more forwards on the court to start the game.
Yes.
But even still, even if you were to put more forwards in the game, there's still mismatches out there because if they switch anything, you still have Ben Simmons potentially on a smaller person. And to me, he just doesn't take advantage of it. Now I know that they put him on a milk carton in the last series, and then all of a sudden he exploded for 25 points in that particular game. I think he had a triple double that game. But we as a franchise we can't wait for somebody to put you on a milk carton or talk about you, boo you or whatever, for you to play a game and be dominant in the playoffs. I don't know whose team this really is. I have no idea.
It's no one's team.
It shouldn't be Jimmy Butler's team because he just got there.
Honestly, I would say it's Jimmy Butler's team because out of anyone there, he's the only one that has that leadership quality. I mean, of course, there's people on the bench who are leaders as well too, but I'm talking about the starters. The people that the media pays the most attention to. The closest would be Jimmy Butler, but unfortunately, I don't see a leader in that starting unit.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest. I wouldn't have been surprised if Jimmy really wanted to come to Houston.
See, I knew somehow, some way, you was
I mean,
going
I'm being
to
honest.
bring this
I'm being
back
honest.
around to your Rockets.
I mean, I'm being honest. I wouldn't be surprised if he really wanted the Timberwolves to accept that 4 first round pick offer. Because you think about it, I mean, he would have been able to shoot threes at random. He would have been able to play defense and not have to carry a team or push a team. You know what I mean? Like, him and PJ Tucker would have got along just great. I'm just saying.
I don't know, man. I don't know,
But that's
man.
speculation, though. I know you don't. I know you don't like speculation. I'm just saying it would have been
It's
good.
not the fact
And
that I
who's
don't
to
like
say?
speculation. I don't like when people take speculations and act like it's facts.
Well, I mean, the 4 first round picks were facts. I mean, that's the only reason I brought it up.
Of course. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the
those
only
are
reason.
facts. Yes.
Yeah. And now, if I was to say, Jimmy Butler's going to the Rockets next year, I mean, that's just ridiculous because we got
No,
like
I'm
two
like
dollars.
that's a pipe dream. That's what we call it.
Yeah,
We call it
we got
a
like
pipe dream in Jersey.
we literally got like $2 in the bank on this one.
like that's like having $2 in the bank, but gas is freaking
$2,
four
yeah,
four dollars a gallon.
yeah, we got nothing. We're getting barely a half a tank here on this
Like
one.
not even half a tank.
So
That's still taxes.
right. So, but I mean, hopefully the 76ers give us something more than the $2 worth of gameplay and they make it a series, but according to the professor, it may be done.
Milwaukee's an 8-point favorite in this game.
No, not Milwaukee. I'm talking about Toronto.
Oh, I don't even care about that series anymore.
So you're saying that it's done.
Yeah, I feel like it's better for them to be finished with it.
Process.
But
Process is over.
like I said the other day, just like with the Buck series, the only way that this series get extended is if the referees are part of the decision of the game.
Gotcha.
If they're part of the decision of the game, then yeah, we're gonna keep going. But if they don't, and they just let the
Mm-hmm.
boys play, as we like to say,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this whole thing's over. It's over. Over. Over.
I agree. I think
Hey Doc, did you hear me say
yeah,
over? Because I said over.
I did hear you say over, and I'm gonna say Roger that.
Roger
Over.
that. And we're not talking about the scout friend.
So let's go on to the next game here. Talking about scouts here. I don't know about all that, but I'm gonna save my Rockets for the last because I feel like whoever wins that series most likely is going to the championship. Um, I'm going to give the Trailblazers a lot of credit. The Nuggets and the Trailblazers are giving us entertaining basketball. Took it to
Very entertaining
quadruple
basketball.
overtime,
Yes.
and I was surprised that not many people fouled out of that game, and they had to go to like their third and fourth reserves. I was very
I'm not
surprised.
surprised about that. Um, at all, actually. Now that I think about it, I'm not
I
surprised
was
about that
very
at all.
surprised. Quadruple overtime. Oh, your boy was surprised.
I'm not surprised, and here's why. Two of the highest scoring teams, two of them, highest scoring teams.
Uh huh.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
Like
but that don't mean they not
Dame
they not
Dame Dame time
that don't mean they not fouling out there.
doesn't mean that they are.
I'm just saying. I mean, quadruple overtime. I would have expected a few foul outs,
No, it was a pretty clean game.
and that's good. I mean, and like I said, they're doing a pretty good job. I think they're playing basketball. I just really think that the experience of Millsap and the versatility of the Joker himself. I feel like they might just be overpowering him. And then of course Jamal Murray coming into his own, but I feel like it's really Jokic, Millsap, and Murray, and of course they have a supporting cast, that's doing a pretty good job. But those three guys, they're just too much, I think, for the Trailblazers. And again, I feel like they're still one player away. Like if
Mm-hmm.
they could somehow secure a Jimmy Butler or someone to help those days when either Dame is off or CJ's off, it would be fantastic. But I feel like they're still one player away.
I actually agree with you, sir. I don't even think there's anything that I can say to counteract what you said.
Don't counteract. Just accept it. Because I didn't
Oh no,
say
no,
that they
I'm
were going to the
thinking, and
Rockets.
and everything that you're saying is completely valid.
Because I could say I wish they would go to the Rockets like I normally say, but I didn't go there.
Doc, if you had your way, the Rockets would be like the '60s Celtics teams
Just
with
saying.
11 frickin'
Oh,
Hall of Famers.
stars. Yeah, that would be sweet.
Like, if you had your way in Doc's perfect world, you would have the top 10 players in the league on the roster.
I mean,
Now, where your front office is getting that money from, I have no clue.
everybody would have to take a pay cut. just for the first, just for the first
Ah.
year.
I'm laughing at your statement because that's
I'm
not
sorry.
happening. This is
I
yeah
mean, it used to happen. I mean, 10 years ago it would have happened.
no. 10 years ago they wasn't getting that much money.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. 10 years ago it would have happened.
Like
That's when LeBron and them did it. They took a little less money to get together. That means people can do it today.
well, once
Just
again, like they're getting that money now, but even back then they're still making
yeah,
buku money off of
they
all their
were.
sponsors.
They were 20. I think they were making what 18 to 20 million dollars. I think during the heat old times.
Yes.
But I would take it. I mean, I would love for James Harden to be making 18 to 20 million dollars. Chris Paul 18 to 20 million dollars. You know, all these other guys, and then we can kind of swing in some other guys. We wouldn't lose a Trevor Ariza for $13 million, and then he instantly becomes, a cap casualty, uh, potential buyout candidate.
Yeah, you was not happy about that either.
It was so dumb. Like, how do you sign a guy? And then we're gonna move on to the Rockets series. But how do
Which
you
is
sign a
surprising,
guy?
folks, because I felt like we've been talking about the Rocket series the whole show.
No way. We haven't even talked about it at all. Like we haven't even touched it at all. I didn't even mention CP3 really more than once.
But anywho,
I
sir,
didn't. I didn't mention a red
to your
eye
final
or
point,
anything.
to your final
Oh, the final
point.
point. You
Yeah.
know, how does a guy, you think about the narrative here, and this is the segue to the Rockets, where hey, we lost, you know, not Alpha Aminu, we lost
Wow.
Trevor Ariza, and then we lost Luke
There
Bamute.
you go. I was like, oh boy, we're about to have another moment.
Yeah, that Chinese
Oh
guy, I know.
no! Not even shine. Oh gosh. Oh, Helen came out with the
Yeah.
jar. She came out with the jar. She came out with the
Luke,
jar. Wow,
yeah, Luke.
you almost had a whole season without having to put money in the jar, and you wait until now to do it.
That was rough, man. That Chinese kid.
See, you just did it
Luke.
twice. She got the.
Yeah,
Oh,
Luke. Yeah,
we're
Luke
about to get
Bamuche.
hell out the air.
Oh my God. But yeah, I think, the narrative coming in, we lost the defense and all this other stuff.
Yes.
And you look at us now, I mean, we're rolling, obviously, tonight, game 5 in Golden State. You have, the Splash Brothers. You got Draymond, you got KD. I wasn't shocked, and I'm definitely not going to be surprised if this game goes to 7. I think the refs wanted to go to 7. I think the NBA wants it to
The
go to
NBA
7
wants it to go to
because
7. They do.
it's such a good series. And, I hate to put it like this, but I wouldn't be surprised if the NBA wanted the Rockets to leave just to set up the narrative so KD can leave. Um, but I don't really, care about that part because he's not coming to Houston. Um, but I don't like the fact that, Harden, almost got massacred out there,
Hmm.
poked in the eye, the finger poke of doom.
What? What?
Yeah, he got finger poke of doom out
Wow. I
there.
can't believe you called the finger poke at them. I can't.
And now, you know, it's a marketing ploy,
Oh, Trevor
you
Plus.
know. Uh, I'm just saying, it's like, oh my God, like he's got his red eye on you, and it's like, what the heck are you talking about?
Oh, for red eye, clear eye is
You're
awesome.
right. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the sponsorship for this series for Clear Eyes.
Oh
Like,
no!
it's so ridiculous.
It's
But,
like, aren't you supposed to flush it? Aren't you supposed to flush your
right,
eyes in cold water? I disagree.
right. He feels put salt in it to make it better.
Oh
uh,
no! You gotta put
but
salt on the beard, folks.
oh my goodness. But I mean, I think ultimately the series has been good. I mean, they definitely haven't disappointed. I don't know what happened at the end of the game. The Rockets kind of gave up a 8-point lead with like 2 minutes left,
Well,
and
the
then
Rockets'
there was,
offense towards the end of that game, just faltered.
you know what I
Like they were
think
just
it's
missing
because,
shots.
you know what I think it is, and this is part of the game where you have to know your style, and they try to slow it down, but I don't know if Houston's a really, really great half court team. Like we talked about the 76ers. They're not a great half court team.
Yes.
They need to run, or they're going into Embiid in the post, or Jimmy in the post, or Tobias in the post. With Houston, it's run, 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 shoot three, 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 pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll, hit somebody in the corner for a three. James Harden ISO, Chris Paul ISO,
Yep.
pick and roll, pick and roll. I mean, that's really it. It's 4 plays. It's like Novocaine. Give it some times and it works all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
We don't condone people from taking those type of drugs. We need to put that out there right now because
I'm just
they'll be
saying. It's
like
like
they're
Novocaine.
like,
Give
well,
it some.
this person's in a hospital now for too much Novocaine. Like, what happened? Well, Doc says crap.
Wow. Wow. But I mean, ultimately, the series is pretty good. I mean, I,
Absolutely.
I really do believe it's going to go to 7. Shout out to Eric Gordon. Even though he was struggling from the field the other day, he really stepped up his game. I hate when he puts the basketball on the floor because he always looks wild when he dribbles. Um,
I actually
but
prefer him putting the ball on the floor
I
because
don't
despite
know.
what people don't know, he's a very good finisher. And
He
he
is a good
has a
finisher.
way
It's
of
just when he
using
tries to
his
dribble,
well, I
you know,
mean, I mean, we see,
It's
we see, we,
wild.
we, we know people who have some really awful ball handling skills and can still ball. So
It's
I
wild.
can't,
It's wild.
I can't,
Like I'd be so scared. Oh, I'd be scared.
I can't.
Um, but I'm also surprised, and I did mention this to you during the game.
Hmm.
KD looked mighty tired.
KD is tired.
He
KD's
looked
averaging 35 points a game.
fatigued. The guy looked fatigued. PJ Tucker is giving him all he can handle. All of 6'6" of PJ Tucker, and that's with two pairs of socks on. Because according to some people, he's probably closer to 6'5".
Wow, I'm not even gonna get that one to comment. But I mean, Kevin Durant. Here's the thing.
Here's a guy.
Here's a guy who, people like to call a snake, but is balling his behind off, carrying this team to another finals
Right?
potentially, if
Potential.
if they're able to get above the Doc's, you know, beastly Rockets,
Right?
who is still averaging 35 points a game, and people
Beast.
acting like he's only scoring 11 points. Like people are acting like he's playing like, you know, Draymond Green,
Right?
but he's still getting 30 to 40 points every other game. Like
Agreed.
it's not a matter of stopping Kevin
I was
Durant.
very
That's the
shocked that he
issue.
missed that last three he took,
Like
honestly.
yes, it's like that's an anomaly. Like we could all agree with that. Like him missing the three and then Steph Curry missing the three at the end. That's an anomaly. Last game when Steph Curry tried to dunk the ball and got blocked by the rim, that's an anomaly.
Oh yeah. I don't know what was going on with that.
Like, yes, I agree with you. I feel like there are powers that are trying to, and I don't mean Captain Planet, folks. There are
Hmm.
powers that are trying to make sure that this series goes to seven.
Got to.
I also feel
Unless the
like that
Rockets
the
can finish it in
Warriors
six.
are also having a hand in keeping this series lasting a little bit longer. Now, the issue is, I wonder, and you talk about Kevin Durant being tired, will
Mm-hmm.
he burn out in the Western Conference Finals if they get past?
Right.
But we also have another
Because it's
set of
not going to stop
teams.
here. It's not going to stop here. I
Oh,
mean,
absolutely not.
if they are able to get past the Rockets, which I hope they don't, of course, the Nuggets are no slouches. And
No,
dealing with those guys that I mentioned before, Millsap, Jokic, and Murray, I mean, that's not an easy feat. So, I mean, if they are going to go and win another championship, I mean, they're going to have to dig deep. And I'm telling you, that guy looks
they're gonna have
super
to earn
tired.
it. They'll have to earn it.
Put the towel on your head, tired. Sad face, Cam, tired.
I mean, it's like someone put out an APB. They're looking for Hoodie Mello out there.
I'm just trying to tell you. I'm just trying to tell you, they were tired. But I mean, that's neither here nor there, man. I mean, ultimately, there's potentially 2 games left for the Rockets if they can close out, 3 games
Yes.
left if they can't. Um, and then, we're gonna go from there. If the Rockets can steal one tonight in Golden State, I mean,
The
I
sky's
would
the
be
limit.
okay with it.
Sky's the limit. If that's the case.
Yeah, because you think about it, we were up what 3-2 last year until Chris Paul got hurt. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe this is the year.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, yeah, climbed back from being the second worst team in the West at the start of the season.
Right. We were
Now
terrible
you're
in the
potentially
beginning of the
able to
season.
go up
And I
three
mean,
two
I hate to
against
do
them
this,
back
but
to back.
this
Yeah.
way, if the Warriors are eliminated, Steph can go and pay more attention to his wife. Apparently, that's the hot take on the street.
Yeah, you already know how much I care about that.
Oh yeah, I mean, but I mean, I'm sure Steph's thinking about it. Hopefully, he thinks about that tonight when
Steph
he's
should
taking
be
his
thinking about that
threes.
because he needs to be focusing on his jump shot because
Nah, he
for
needs to
some
focus on
reason
his
he either
wife.
starts a
Happy wife,
game
happy life.
really
And he
rough.
needs to focus on her in the crowd
I see what you
as
did there. I see what you
thousands
I
of
see what you
guys are surrounding her,
I'm
walking up to
seeing
her,
what you're doing there.
giving her their number
Wow,
while he's
I
playing.
can't believe we're doing this right now. I'm so disappointed in you right now.
They need to walk up to her, tell
I can't
her,
believe this is
hey,
happening.
you know what? I understand what you're saying. I know you wanted me to come talk to you. You asked for this.
Wow.
and then Steph will be right there pointing in the crowd, and then he just won't be able to focus.
I can't believe you said this. I can't believe you said this.
I'm just keeping it honest, man. I mean, if he needs to be distracted, why not be distracted by your wife? She could be the Khloe Kardashian of this particular series.
I feel like we need to go to final thoughts.
Wow.
I feel like
Yes,
we just need to go
let's,
to final thoughts right now.
let's jump into final thoughts.
I can't believe this.
As the people know, every week, myself and the Professor John Gotti give our final thoughts, things that might not have highlighted your week, but we consider them still to be highlights of the week.
Oh
Um, and I
gosh.
have about three or four, you know, and I'm gonna go first because I usually do kick it off.
Oh my gosh.
Being that we don't talk about baseball enough, I did see a few days ago
Mhm.
that Oakland A's pitcher Mike Fears threw the first no hitter of the MLB season
Yep.
just a few days ago. Definitely wanted to point it out. Shout out to, I'm just going to call him Dr. Fears.
Wow.
Almost like Doctor Strange, throwing the
Wow.
first no
Wow.
hitter out
You're
there.
on top form right now, sir.
Spoiler
You're in top
alert.
form right now.
Unfortunate news. I'm not going to end on unfortunate news. I'm going to end with uplifting news. But unfortunate news, JPP, Jason Pierre Paul, involved in a single car accident just a few days ago. Fractured neck, may miss all of 2019, which, could provide the Bucks potentially with some cap relief, possibly, as they may be able to get their bonus money back due to this injury.
Mm.
Who knows what happens with JPP? His career potentially could be over because of this accident, but I do know that he is seeking specialist attention. He is 30, going to be turning 31 next year. Depending on what the doctors say, I mean, he could miss the remainder of 2019. Definitely, our prayers are with JPP and the Bucks' pass rush.
Mm.
My next topic, which almost made headline news with us, Tyrone Lue, the former Laker, the guy who got stepped over by Allen Iverson, the guy who used to have cornrows, passed over an opportunity to coach LeBron again in LA as he says, I wanted the job a few years ago. You didn't give it to me. I'm not coming back. Give it to Brian Shaw.
Oh, poor Brian Shaw.
He really did. I mean, come on, give it to Brian Shaw. He's on that Patrick Ewing list at this point.
Oh, don't get me started.
And I don't know how Georgetown is doing, but I'm pretty sure they're on the cusp of turning it around. My last final thought, which just came on right before the show started, one for the Brotherhood. Jeremy Roach, the number 15 overall prospect, the number 2 point guard in the 2020 rankings, has committed to the Brotherhood, to the Blue Devils. Surprisingly, randomly, according to some sources, he will join the Blue Devils next season. I would assume this is barring a return for a junior season by Trey Jones, which is highly unlikely given the way basketball works these days. But I can see Jeremy jumping in here and being a Blue Devil next year, starting point guard.
That could
And that
happen.
right, and that
Wasn't there
right there,
a Duke commit who backed out of his commitment to Duke too?
Boogie Ellis, I believe it was.
Yeah, I
Yes,
think that's who it was.
Boogie Ellis did drop out. Now, I think the thing with him also, caveat what I just mentioned about Trey Jones. I think Boogie Ellis dropped because Trey Jones, did come back. But the timing was kind of weird because Trey Jones, he committed months ago, I feel like, about a month or two ago. So Boogie Ellis's decision most likely was one that probably consisted of multiple conversations with friends and family saying, oh, you can go somewhere else and actually start rather than come off the bench for the 2019 NCAA champions.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to win the championship next year.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So I'm sticking to it.
I know. I'm not even gonna
So
say anything about that. I'm just gonna leave that one alone.
so I mean I don't blame him for not sticking around. There was a high chance that he would have been coming off the bench, and everybody knows that Coach K runs a pretty short rotation. So I mean he has to do what he has to do.
That's fair.
But that's all I got to say about that. Janae,
Oh my
sorry,
gosh.
sorry.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
it must be the knee.
I feel like your knee is telling you that it needs to go to someone's face, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it really does.
Anywho, um, wow. I might be on tilt right now. I can't believe it.
Tilt,
I might
tilt.
be on tilt.
I mean, you can cut your final thoughts short
Oh
if you need to.
man. No, there was one of them that was um based off of one of yours actually. Crap.
Sweet.
Your first one was so this week was also an anniversary of a very famous or
Ah.
infamous promo that happened on
Mm.
Sports Center featuring the answer Allen Iverson, his famous practice promo. And I was gonna come into the show last week saying we're over here talking about
Layoffs?
no, not the layoffs. I was hoping you knew what I was gonna say, but you didn't know.
I just want to make sure. I mean, naturally it would be practice, but
No, it's gonna be landings. We're gonna be talking about landings because that's all people were talking about last week was landings for jump shots,
oh
feet
my
positions.
God. I was trying to forget that. That's why I wouldn't have never came up with that.
I can't believe it. I can't believe
If
it.
you'd have
But
said that last week, if you'd have said that last week, I would have got it.
I know. Well, and I thought about, I was like, you know what, because your Rockets was kind of still fighting, so like I didn't want to
Yeah, because I was
add.
I wasn't watching those games. I ain't gonna lie to
but
the
but
people.
yes, that this week was the anniversary of that news conference with Allen Iverson, the practice news conference. Also, this past weekend we had boxing, Canelo Alvarez versus Daniel Jacobs. I believe Alvarez actually merged the WBA and WBC championship
Yep. Unification, that's right.
and also unified and won Jacobs's IBF championship as well for the middleweight. So now he is a four. He unified three of the four middleweight titles.
Hmm.
Yes, and it came
Nice.
down to decisions. I mean, honestly, it was a pretty good fight. I mean, he pretty much dominated for most of it. Jacobs did have a couple of rounds. Of course, there was no, knockdowns or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they take punishment, but this is one of the things that you'll come to expect for a lot of boxing matches now. Like the knockout or the art
Mm-hmm.
of knockout has become more of a thing of the past, and the quicker that
Right.
people start realizing that you won't see it as much anymore, the easier things will become. But I
Mm-hmm.
mean, Canelo hand speed, his defense was on point throughout the whole match. I mean, once again, he's all about getting the points towards the victory, and if it leads to him knocking someone out, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you're not going to see a lot of knockouts. Not a lot of them.
Right.
My next final
Right.
thought. I want to say this past weekend, or the actually prior weekend, the last week of April. You heard me talk about this before in the past, and of course I was going to follow up whenever I get more news. But the Allen Event Center out in Arlington, Texas, over there where the Cowboys play and the Texas Rangers play, are they did a homecoming, I guess you could call it,
Mm-hmm.
weekend to help promote the Dallas Fuel Overwatch team.
Uh-oh.
So apparently that was the big thing that happened in DFW this past weekend. Now I'm not a big Overwatch player, so I can't give you any stats. I had opportunity to meet the team for Dallas Fuel, but I chose not to. But who knows? Maybe it'll be something that I'll have to go out there and watch in their brand new esports arena and get that
Mm-hmm.
podcasting beast and the Duke along for the ride.
Who knows? Maybe you'll join the team.
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm alright.
Maybe you'll join, man. We know that John Gotti is one of the greatest freaking gamers of all time.
No, I'm a great learner of the game and teacher of the game.
Ladies and gentlemen, the guy's a beast. He's being modest. He's so good. I mean, when we said EA Sports, it's in the game. It's really EA Sports. John Gotti is the game.
I, I, you about to put me on tilt again. Um,
No. Oh, God.
but speaking of, starting from the bottom, now we're here.
Wow. Wow.
Super League Gaming, um, which is a amateur tournament platform, announced
Uh-huh.
they're having a partnership with Capcom to hold a amateur city versus city competition for the Street Fighter League to help promote amateur Street Fighter players and give them the experience that you would see a lot of the FGC elites take place in. And of course, Street Fighter League currently is a team based competition. I haven't talked about it because honestly, there's not really a whole lot to talk about. And because Street Fighter V has been struggling mightily
Right. Mightily.
to promote itself in a way to compete against other games such as Dragon
Mm-hmm.
Ball Fighter Z, Blaze Blue, Guilty Gear, and
It's
other
terrible.
games that will
Terrible
be
game.
showing up in Evolution 2019, which I believe
Which
the
is
last I checked, Street Fighter V is number 3 in overall entries. The number of
if
entries
I'm not mis-
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, it's still a mystery.
I heard it was still a mystery. So that's something else that's happening. I might actually check this one out just to see, you know, are the people really amateurs or are they only
Mm-hmm.
amateurs because they haven't won any tournaments?
Gotcha. The Philip Rivers of FGCs.
The oh my gosh, not Smuggles. But he's our boy though. Like we shook his hand and everything, man. Like come on, why you gotta play him out?
Hey, listen, I mean, you know how this world is. What have you done for me lately?
I can't believe it. But Super League Gaming will be streaming, broadcasting, producing this amateur competition on their Twitch channel, Super League TV, and on YouTube with the same name as well too. And check out our Gaming Amongst Friends channel. Maybe we will put something out there for y'all to check it out.
Absolutely.
My next one is talking about. So this past weekend was Free Comic Book Day. I don't know if anyone know this, but
Yeah, I saw
um,
that. It was.
you can actually go into a comic book shop and they'll have boxes of comic books free for you to take. Now, it's not going to be like a Spider-Man, Volume 1 edition, mint condition kind of thing, because that'd be
Mm,
completely backwards. But it gives you
right,
a chance to find out and learn about some comics that you probably never heard of before. Pick it
right,
up, get a chance to read it, and maybe you have yourself a new artist that you'll enjoy.
right.
But I'm saying that because Udon Comics, who does a Street Fighter comic series,
Mm-hmm.
uh, was involved in a free comic book day, and three of the FGC's finest made guest appearances there. Alex Myers,
Hmm.
the Beast, Daigo Umehara, and your boy, the
Yikes.
Peyton Manning of the FGC, a certain Punk.
That punk right there.
But I actually do like the Udon comic series for Street Fighter though. They also do like for other video game series as well too. Gave me a
Mm-hmm.
chance to understand more of the backstory of the original Mega Man
Mm-hmm.
timeline as well too. Learn about why Dr. Light and Dr. Wily or Dr. Wily have such a rivalry against each other. Why Dr. Wily is so jealous of Dr. Light
Mm.
and things like that. So that's interesting. Oh,
It
apparently
is.
the Seahawks are looking to sign Ziggy Ansah after
Yeah,
trading
that's
Frank
the
Clark.
plan, but I know that there are a few teams that are interested, including my new defensive end list Bucks.
Yes.
So we'll see what happens.
And my last one, and this one's gonna be interesting, and maybe I should have made this one the talking point. But Missouri Senator Josh Hawley is waging war on the video game industry to try to get a new regulation that will outlaw loot boxes and free to play monetizations
Hmm.
in games that's tailored towards minors.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's big, isn't it?
Yeah, it is pretty huge. I mean, only thing about it is, he kind of leaves it open for video game companies to produce a loophole by saying catered or geared toward minor because a company could just come in and say, well,
It's not
we
really for
don't do.
kids, it's really monitored for
Yeah,
adults. Yes.
and the kids are just so happen to be playing.
Yeah, but I feel like this is still the beginning portion of things.
Oh yeah.
And of course, I have experience dealing with games. I mean, we all had experience dealing with games with loot boxes or free to play or, pay to
Hmm.
win mentalities.
Right.
Sorry, Madden
Right.
19.
Again, it's not really
It's
pay to win.
gambling
It's not. We
for the
talked
ultimate
about
team.
this.
The
You're supposed
ultimate
to be
team.
looking. You're supposed to be looking into this. It's not really gambling because you don't have to spend any money.
Yes, you don't have to,
You
but
don't.
the option is still there.
I think the option is there for most games. Mostly all games have an option to pay for stuff now. I mean, I don't know why. Like, I'll give you an example. 2K, same thing with the playing cards. It's really a, it's really just a virtual card game. It's for the I don't want to say nerds.
Oh, we're about to call up the stream right now.
No, I don't want to say nerds. It's for those people who
Oh no, he
don't.
said those people.
Yeah, like people who who don't want to really like.
I can't believe he
They
said
may
these
not.
people. Those people.
Yeah, the people who may not really care about players, but who are interested in collecting cards, putting a team together. They don't want to play with traditional teams. They want to put a team together. They want to play with said team and just keep building a fantasy lineup. But that's pretty much what it is. It's fantasy football, a card game, all kind of wrapped into one.
Mm.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. It's just a card game, a fantasy card game, virtually.
And I feel like you was talking about Yu-Gi-Oh too, and I kind of wanted to bring in Four Eyes to talk about that. Like
But and he's a
I feel
huge
like
Yu-Gi-Oh.
that, and that's why I wanted to bring him in. Like I feel like
Yeah,
that would have been a very interesting conversation.
but he would have known that it's true though. I mean, it's literally just like playing Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon. It's like your cards have to trump the other cards. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing. People might not feel that way because you still have to play the actual game itself. Like you're still playing Madden. It's just you're putting together a fantasy team based on your collected cards. It's almost like if Pokemon had let's just say a basketball game and you have to go around collecting them all to build a basketball team.
Yes, for the card version.
Right. This is just a virtual version.
Wow.
I'm serious. I mean, that's really the only thing that's different is that you decide to put cards. I'm trying to tell you. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know what I don't know how they even considered or thought of anything like this, but I mean, people love it.
Yeah, they do.
Like they absolutely love it. They go crazy for it. I mean, it's insane.
But I mean, obviously this is something that is looking to be a serious thing that happened. This is something that I found today. So I'm gonna try to get more updates on this as it comes along. I highly
I,
doubt anything is gonna happen because gaming companies are making crazy money right now.
I really need you to put the game on and check it out and just see it.
No, I'm good. I'm
Not to
alright.
play it, but I mean,
I'm
as
like,
far
no,
as
I'm good.
yeah, as far as for research purposes, just so you can stop calling it gambling for Christ's sakes.
I was talking
Because
more as far as Madden, not 2K. Like,
no, no, I'm saying
yeah, I was talking
you
about
need to
more of Madden. Like,
you need to check it
I
out.
see what it is with 2K. Like, and
It's
with
the same
2K,
thing.
it's
It's the exact same thing.
okay then.
They're playing cards. It's playing cards that you collect until you build a team that's better than other people's team. You got different level cards. You got gym, I guess in Madden it's gold, silver, and bronze. In 2K it's emerald, gold, platinum, whatever. It's all the same
Go.
thing. Yeah, it's all crazy. It's all based on some type of some type of system in which people have to collect cards.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy. I know. I know. But it's
Like I said,
yeah,
it's not
I
something
just
that
don't.
I'm necessarily for. I mean, I already had some really bad experiences, some bad evenings with the Duke playing Infinite Warfare. I think I put down at least a few $100s on that game. And now that I no longer
Yeah,
play that game, like that's buyer's remorse. Like, yeah, I obviously shouldn't have paid money for it, but at the same time, like it was a fun game, you
right.
know,
Yeah, yeah. I
and
wouldn't have
I want to
known
be able
that.
to
Or
really enjoy it. But like after that, I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
yeah. See, I don't know. I wouldn't have known anything about anything like that. I wouldn't even. I wouldn't know what you would have spent money on in that.
uh, weapons variations. But the problem is, you can either get a weapon variant, a weapon skin. They have
Right.
like playing, well, not playing cards. I don't want to make it sound like that.
Yeah.
Perk,
Don't say playing
perk that
cards.
you can use mid game, because I only play
Mm,
the zombie game.
right. Yeah. I don't know, man. That sounds rough.
Yeah. So, like I said, I dealt with it. I understand where people are coming from about either defending their games or trying to bring more understanding to things. But for me, I'm good.
Yeah, and then that so see for playing, and this is jumping way into gaming amongst friends, but I mean for something like that, I mean don't get me wrong, I've spent my share of money. I used to play Game of War on my phone,
hmm
and I mean we spent me and my friend Charles, the King Slayer and King Cobra out here, we were out here playing this game hard. I mean where your phone vibrate in the middle of the night and you're like, oh my God, my kingdom is under attack. My protection done ran off, and I done lost all kinds of resources that I've been gathering for days.
Yes.
And those little $100 or $50 things would come up, and you would see other people buying, and you're getting all kinds of gifts. I mean, them phone games, they're no joke. But games in general are no joke, and I applaud the. You said it was a governor.
The who?
Was it a govern the governor of?
Yeah.
I applaud him for the attempt because you just never know. And but I just think pay to play is
Pay to
it just seems
play,
to
pay
be
to win, free to play.
that just seems to be the way to go right now.
Yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing how Borderlands play. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, yeah, they have some things, but it's not like, hey, you need this to be good at the game kind of thing.
right, right.
Like
I
it
hope that
can't.
doesn't.
No, well, they already said they're not doing that, and of course, if they change that around to do anything like that, like the last thing you want to do is to pull a caster IO
Right,
by keeping
right.
things in a way that you end up building yourself a great fan base and then turning around and charging people $10 a month
For less,
for less.
for
Like, don't
less.
pull them
Yeah, don't do that. Don't be caster.
because
And
that's
get direct.
exactly what happened.
It's like get direct TV. Don't be like them.
Like, don't get cable, get DirecTV.
Yeah, like that's right. That was so rough, and I'm I'm calling them out.
Hey, I get it. I get it. But
Luckily, we have a guy here named John Gotti who is a beast at finding solutions. That's right. I'm talking about you. You're John Gotti.
just do my best, man.
Hey, hey.
Like always, just try to do my best. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Tonight's track is one that podcasting beast guy, and I'm gonna let him introduce the artist.
And I mean, it's a guy that we had before, and I really enjoyed his song last year. Where we played it during this time. During the time, it was called Hall of Fame, and it was just so fitting that I figured, why not go back into this well and bring my man Lou Charles back for a song called "Run It Back," which was the theme for the Houston Rockets, which I don't know if you even saw that, but
Mm.
as a theme for the Houston Rockets all summer long. They wanted to run it back with the Warriors one more time, and here we are tonight, running it
Here
back.
I thought you was gonna say that because I say that all the time. Like
No, no,
literally all
no.
the time.
This was literally because the Rockets wanted to run it back with the Warriors with a healthy Chris Paul, and here we are once again tearing it to pieces. Lou Charles, ladies and gentlemen, run it back.
Make sure you catch the show every single Wednesday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube, on Facebook, and a big shout out to our people out there in Periscope. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification icon on our YouTube channel, like and hit the like button on our Facebook page. Also follow our group page at the Beta Monks Fra. Uh, follow our Periscope. We appreciate it. We're gonna try to get more stuff out there for you. Oh, you can follow us on social media on Twitter at the Beta Monks Fra. On our Instagram account at the Beta Monks Friends. You can
Wow.
follow myself at Kin86 on Twitter, Professor John Gotti on Instagram, and that podcasting beast over there at TL Double on Instagram and on Twitter. Once
It's
again,
because I
thank
said tearing it to pieces.
you. Yes. Oh, this show though, plus. And thank you
Wow.
very much, folks. And as we always say, goodbye. Mwah! and to all a good night.
So when I say Lou, y'all say Charles. Lou, Lou, Lou.
They say I'm the one. 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 Goddamn, came a long way from the dollar menu. Now we popping right back. Remember me and Lex had to split Wendy's just to make sure our debit card getting overdraft. Fanboy for fame, can't put nothing over that. Powerful for pussy, can't put nothing over that. Follow the footsteps of the greatest, and somehow priorities always overlap. What's that say about me? Live a life of a fair for I was really 17. Stayed on the move, never settled for a thing. Always knew persistence was the key to my dreams, yeah. So I go hard, y'all ain't on my sonar. Old Testament to the squad, cause we ain't never running with no more. Now we back on track, turned a hobby to a hustle, now we at the max. Running in my lane and I can't look back. If you try to run with a suit, asthma attack. Odds are I'll be the asshole to laugh, but you know all's fair when the crown's up for grabs. No all's fair when the crown's up for grabs. You gon' pay what you owe, you gon' see where I'm at. Look, came a long way, but I'm here. Goddamn, running back. Like y'all sleep last year. Goddamn, running back. They try to count me out. Goddamn, running back. Never thought I'd make it this far. Goddamn, running back. They say I'm the one. 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 Goddamn, little bit, baby, bet this ain't really what you thought it is. Had to double back, snatch up all the snatch I missed out on when I was on my shit. Let her fall in love, then disown her quick. So proprietor, no split ownership. Put myself up when I barely had enough. Now you feel some type of entitlement. Ho, please. I ain't playing games. I ain't playing games. Too much on my plate to keep you entertained. Down to trade your soul just to taste the fame. But once you give it up, it can't be reclaimed. Came a long way, but I'm here. Goddamn, running back. Like y'all sleep last year. Goddamn, running back. They try to count me out. Goddamn, running back. Never thought I'd make it this far. Goddamn, running back. Came a long way, but I'm here. Goddamn, running back. Like y'all sleep last year. Goddamn, running back. They try to count me out. Goddamn, running back. Never thought I'd make it this far. Goddamn, running back. They say I'm the one. 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 They say I'm the one.